Shaanxi quake. In the early morning hours of the 23rd of January, 1556, while most people were still asleep, a devastating earthquake struck Huazhou, Shaanxi Province, China. In a matter of seconds, the ground shook violently, leveling hundreds of thousands of homes, triggering massive landslides, and changing the course of rivers. Known as the Shaanxi Earthquake of 1556, or the Great Jiajing Earthquake, it remains one of the most devastating natural events in human history. According to official records and modern research, the number of affected individuals was around 830,000, a toll unmatched by any other known earthquake. During the Ming Dynasty, the Guangdong region where the earthquake occurred was a densely populated and culturally vibrant region. A striking architectural feature of the region is the extensive use of yaodong, or cave houses, carved into the loess cliffs. Although effective at retaining heat in the arid climate, these structures are highly susceptible to collapse during seismic activity. This architectural weakness greatly increased the scale of the tragedy. Geologically, the Huazhou area lies within the Wei River Basin, an area marked by complex fault systems such as the Huashan and Huainan faults. Over the centuries, tectonic stress had built up in the area. In 1556, a sudden release of energy occurred, producing an earthquake with an estimated magnitude of 7.9 to 8.0 on the Richter scale. The shaking began around midnight, the Z hour in Chinese time, and spread across at least 97 counties in 9 different provinces. Historical texts describe horrific scenes: houses destroyed, farmland gone, roads obliterated, mountains cut off, and rivers diverted. Fires are said to have broken out in the rubble. Aftershocks continued for months, exacerbating the unrest in the region. Cracks up to 20 meters deep appeared near the epicenter. At the same time, the appearance of a comet in the sky led many to believe that the disaster was a cosmic omen. The impact was catastrophic. Some 830,000 people lost their lives, nearly 60% of the population of Shaanxi and Shaanxi provinces. The entire city of Huazhou and its surrounding area were flattened. Not only homes, but also temples, palaces, and important cultural relics such as the Little Wild Goose Pagoda in Xi'an were severely damaged. The resulting shortage of food, clean water, and shelter led to the spread of disease. Landslides blocked rivers, causing localized flooding, while fires worsened the situation. The Ming government responded quickly by exempting taxes and mobilizing silver reserves for relief. However, the scale of the devastation was beyond their capabilities. Hundreds of thousands of people were left homeless, facing famine and growing social unrest. Reports of looting and rioting emerged in some areas. As a result, communities began to adapt their construction methods, replacing cave dwellings with lightweight structures made of bamboo and wood to better withstand future seismic threats. This is one of the earliest examples of earthquake mitigation strategies based on lived experience in Chinese history. Culturally and spiritually, the 1556 earthquake left a deep mark on the collective memory of the Chinese people. Many believed it to be a divine punishment, the result of the imperial court's moral decadence and its alienation from the people. Stories of miraculous survival, such as that of Qin Keida, who escaped death and recorded the event in detail, have become enduring symbols of human strength and ingenuity in troubled times. Poets and historians of the time also wrote works commemorating the tragedy, using it as a reminder of the overwhelming power of nature and the importance of living in harmony with the natural world. Notably, the earthquake was also recorded by a Western observer, the Portuguese missionary Gaspar de Cruz, during his travels in China, marking one of the earliest instances of the scale of an Asian earthquake being recognized by the West. The 1556 Shaanxi earthquake was not only a major event in Chinese history, but also a milestone on a global scale. It serves as a powerful reminder of the destructive power of nature and the important lessons humanity must continue to learn from such events. Calcutta Cyclone. On the 11th of October 1737, an intense storm hit the Bengal Plains, devastating the area around Calcutta. then a burgeoning colonial settlement under the control of the British East India Company. Although still a relatively small city, Calcutta was located in a low-lying, densely populated area with a complex network of rivers and no infrastructure that could withstand the extreme weather. The storm, described by contemporary accounts as unprecedented, brought strong winds, waves reportedly as high as 13 meters, 43 feet, and floodwaters that surged hundreds of kilometers inland. While the exact number of fatalities remains disputed, some accounts from the period estimate the number of affected individuals to be anywhere from a few thousand to 300,000, making it one of the deadliest tropical cyclones on record. At the time, Bengal was still nominally under the control of the Mughal Empire, while Calcutta was emerging as a British-dominated trading hub. The region's infrastructure was rudimentary, with houses built largely of bamboo, wood, or earth materials that were easily washed away by tidal currents. The region's flat terrain, extensive river network, and fertile floodplains allowed floods to spread rapidly. Although tropical cyclones were not uncommon in the North Indian Ocean during the post-monsoon season, the 1737 storm was one of the first to be documented in such detail in terms of scale and devastation. According to contemporary reports, the storm made landfall on the morning of the 11th of October, accompanied by torrential rains, gale-force winds, and large waves crashing ashore. The winds were so strong that they tossed boats ashore, uprooted trees, and swept away entire riverside communities. The storm did not just hit Calcutta. It tore through much of lowland Bengal, with its impact extending 300 kilometers inland. Sea waters flooded deep into the countryside, destroying hundreds of villages. Many British, Dutch, and local merchant ships are believed to have been stranded in the port, disrupting trade for weeks. The assessment of the damage remains controversial to this day. Some sources put the death toll at around 3,000 in Calcutta alone, while others say as many as 300,000 may have lives lost across Bengal, including civilians, soldiers, merchants, and sailors from sunken ships. In addition, tens of thousands of boats were destroyed, houses and buildings collapsed, crops were washed away, and animals perished en masse. Religious structures, such as temples and churches, were also unable to withstand the ferocity of the storm. The devastation extended beyond the physical damage, leaving deep psychological, environmental, and ecological scars in the region. The storm had a profound impact on the economic and social structures of Bengal. Trade through the port of Calcutta was disrupted, inland waterways were blocked, and agriculture was disrupted due to saltwater intrusion. Although there are no official records of famine, the risk of widespread disease in the wake of the storm was significant. At the time, no meteorological systems or early warning mechanisms were in place, leaving communities completely unprepared for the storm's impact. In the decades that followed, historians and meteorologists debated the true scale of the disaster. Some have suggested that the high number of affected individuals may have been exaggerated, perhaps due to political or word-of-mouth influences. However, even conservative estimates place it among the most devastating storms to ever hit the Indian subcontinent. Historically and scientifically, the Calcutta Cyclone of 1737 was one of the earliest events to highlight the need for organized meteorological services and storm warning systems in India. It was not until the 19th century, under British colonial rule, that the first weather stations were established, many inspired by disasters such as the 1737 disaster. In terms of culture and public memory, the storm has been repeatedly referenced in newspapers, historical texts, and folklore whenever Bengal has faced major storms. One notable symbol believed to have survived the disaster is the ancient banyan tree at the Acharya Jagadish Chandra Bose Botanical Garden in Kolkata. Locals regard it as a living witness to the storm, a symbol of resilience in the face of adversity. Even today, the memory of the Calcutta storm of 1737 remains a haunting reminder of human frailty before the power of nature. Coringa Cyclone. On the 25th of November, 1839, the port town of Coringa, situated along the Bay of Bengal in what is now Andhra Pradesh, India, was struck by one of the most devastating tropical cyclones of the 19th century. The storm made landfall with intense winds and a storm surge reportedly reaching up to 12 meters, sweeping away nearly everything in its path. That night, the once thriving harbor, crowded with ships, was almost entirely destroyed. An estimated 300,000 people lost their lives, marking this disaster as one of the deadliest natural events in modern recorded history. Prior to the catastrophe, Coringa was a bustling trading port near the mouth of the Godavari River. Under the administration of the British East India Company, the town had become a hub for shipbuilding and international trade, with thousands of vessels anchored along the waterfront. However, its low-lying coastal terrain, surrounded by mangrove forests and shaped like a funnel, made it especially vulnerable to powerful cyclones and storm surges. Though the region had experienced a severe storm in 1789, resulting in approximately 20,000 lives lost, the lack of early warning systems, underdeveloped meteorological knowledge, and high population density in coastal areas made the impact in 1839 far more devastating. Contemporary accounts describe the cyclone forming several days earlier over the Bay of Bengal before moving northwest and making landfall near Coringa on the night of the 25th of November. At Hope Island, located just offshore, observers reported hurricane-force winds and walls of water surging inland, submerging the town. The lighthouse was blown apart, with its tower doors ripped open and water inundating the lower chambers, destroying all equipment. The storm raged through the night, and by morning an eerie calm had returned, yet the town had been reduced to ruins. The destruction was catastrophic. Nearly the entire settlement was leveled. Around 20,000 boats and ships were destroyed, some hurled hundreds of meters inland, even becoming stranded in residential gardens. Thousands of homes were flattened, trees uprooted, and both livestock and wildlife perished in large numbers. Rice paddies and sugarcane fields were inundated with salt water, wiping out crops for months to come. The rapid decay of human and animal remains in the humid conditions posed a severe public health risk, while the town's economic and social systems were completely paralyzed. Coringa, once a symbol of maritime prosperity in southeastern India, was reduced to ashes. In the aftermath, many survivors chose to migrate inland, leaving the coastline behind, along with its painful memories. The town never regained its former prominence. The 1839 disaster marked a turning point in British colonial understanding of disaster preparedness. In the wake of the tragedy, efforts to establish meteorological observatories and early warning systems gained traction, especially after Henry Piddington, a scientist and East India Company official, began studying the phenomenon. In an 1840 presentation to the Asiatic Society of Bengal, Piddington introduced the term cyclone, inspired by the Greek word kyklon, meaning moving in a circle, to describe these spiraling tropical storms. The term has remained in use ever since. The Coringa Cyclone serves as a powerful reminder of the devastation nature can cause when communities are unprepared and scientific understanding is limited. Though the town vanished from trade maps by the mid-19th century, the name Coringa lives on in historical records and collective memory as a symbol of total destruction. Hope Island, which once recorded the earliest descriptions of the storm, became a haunting symbol of unfulfilled hope, as every attempt to restore the town failed. In colonial reports, Coringa was described as a ghost town, a once thriving port, wiped clean in a single night. More than just the tragedy of a coastal town, the 1839 cyclone marked a critical moment in the development of scientific awareness and meteorological policy. It demonstrated that in every disaster, if humanity chooses to reflect, to learn, and to adapt, tragedy can also spark progress, a difficult but lasting lesson that history continues to teach.